السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
Is it
وبركاته.
on? Is it on?
Did you go about that?
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Alhamdulillah, dear brothers and sisters, we always begin praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He deserves to be praised. We seek His help, we seek His aid, we seek forgiveness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of our own actions and the evil of our own deeds. He whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, there is no one to misguide him, and he whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to go astray, there can be no guide for him. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has no partners. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his slave and messenger. Ameen. Alhamdulillah. In the beginning, we should always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to see another Jummuah. And as we know, the Jummuah is a blessed time for us, so we should be reminded always to increase our worship during Jummuah. Make more salat, make more dua, send more salams on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah, I'm prepared to talk today just to kind of allow us to be able to use the Quran, to see some of the things that's artificial in the world that we actually deal with in our lives. They affect us dearly, and we should make an attempt to try and change these things once we're able to see what they are. But the deception in the world is so great that it's difficult sometimes for us to use the Quran to know what these artificial things are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us in Surah Al-Kahf, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ زِينَةً لَهَا لِنَبْلُوَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us that verily He created this whole earth and the things on it as an enticement or something that we would be inclined to, something that we would love. And He put all this stuff here on the earth. He placed it here as though it's a glittering show for man. And he done it in order to test us, to see how we are in our conduct as related to him, the obligation and duties that we owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, this deception is so great, and the love that we have for these things on the earth are great. And this is part of the deception which we will attempt to unravel by using the Quran. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم زين للناس حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطير المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة والخيل المسومة والأنعام والحرث ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا والله عنده حسن المآب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us in this beautiful verse of all the things that He has placed here for our benefit. He said, beautiful, beautiful for mankind, in which the things that we love and desire are, first He mentions the women. Next He mentioned the offspring from the women, the children. And after the children, the massive amounts of gold and silver coins, which we like to hoard up. These are things that He mentioned. And this is in relation to what we call today, which is artificial, the money. And then He mentions horses, which is branded. And this is related to the vehicles that we dare, the brand name vehicles that we delight. And next, He mentioned all types of cattle, all the different animals that we take to the slaughter, and we love to eat and share the meat. And then He mentions the spacious land, and the artificial equivalent of this spacious land would be what we call today real estate. And lastly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that these are provisions. These are provisions and they are comforts which He has provided for us in the life of this world. And then lastly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us that with Allah, He said the beautiful things are with Allah, and He has preserved them for the life after this life. Alhamdulillah. In the last verse that I want to share is from Surah Al-Mulk. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. Alhamdulillah, Allah is reminding us in this verse that He has created for us the whole earth. The whole earth was created for us. This world was created for us, and He has made everything in it subservient to the man. So He says, traverse through this land, travel abroad, and seek the provisions. Seek the provisions which He has provided for us. So here, Allah, and lastly, Allah reminds us to know that we're going to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know that the return of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our final destination. This is the warning from this ayah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's telling us that He has made everything on this earth subservient to the man. Meaning He placed it all here for us. to go after. So, in making an attempt, one of the biggest things that we have trouble finding the nature of is the actual money that we actually deal with every day. And why this money that we deal with every day is artificial. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is telling us that He has made everything on this earth subservient to us. So it's there for us to go travel, and then He invites us to travel the land, and enjoy of the provisions that He's provided for us. So, with all of these verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is letting us know that we're being tested in our conduct as respect to our obligations and duties that we owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, what is our obligation? And what are our duties that we owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Well, we know that we was only created for one purpose, and that was to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah also says, do not associate any of these delights, any of these things that He has made available to us. Don't associate these things in worship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a heavy obligation. It's a heavy obligation. And we all fall short. We all fall short at some, for something. Whether it's women, whether it's some gold or some money, we all fall short. So, the reason I share these ayahs is because I want to make an attempt to show you the things which we deal with today that are actually artificial. Meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not speak of this real estate in the Quran. But we say we want to get into real estate. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't mention this word, this money word, in the Quran. So what we have to do always is to find out the nature of what we're dealing with. So we have to take these words and we have to define them just to relate to a word which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking of in the Quran. So if you look up the term real estate, you may find that it's 6 different definitions or 10 different definitions. But one that will strike you is land and building. So in the verse that we recited from Surah Al-Imran, Allah, He speaks to this harf, this land. So we can relate to the land and know that the deception is in what's artificial. And the powers that be have put these things together to deceive the man. Allah, He told us to travel the land and enjoy these provisions that He's provided us. So the ones who seek to take the fame and power, they came up with what you call a medium of exchange. What's a medium of exchange? And this medium of exchange, they called it money. They called it money. And it can be used as a medium of exchange to purchase or buy any of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the verses. And we know how powerful the money is today. Because people could use it and they could buy everything. Not just so much the cars and the houses and the land, but they could buy each other as well. They could buy men. As they say, we all have a price. So we have to be very careful in dealing with the money. And in order for us to change the condition that we live, we have to understand the nature of what we're dealing with. And if we don't understand the nature of the money, then we can't change our condition. So I pointed these ayats out just to let you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed everything here for us. So how is it that we always being faced with a bill? We always need money to take care of something. Is it due to us not understanding the nature of these artificial things in relation to the Quran? Allah, He speaks about the gold and silver. So, the gold and silver is a form of money for us. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave us. And we need to know the difference between the two. Because what we have to get back to is gold and silver. We have to get back to gold and silver. And this is very important because today in the world we see marketplaces all over the place. But we don't control any of the marketplaces. Meaning all we ever do is we follow what's already been laid out for us. And the powers that be created the entire economy. And after they created the economy, they put together the school system to teach us how to live in their economy. And not only did they give us a school system, they gave us games such as Monopoly. And if we learn to play these games, then we have effectively learned how to live in their economy. But we have to understand the market, and we have to understand the money which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed here. So in the second half, inshallah, we're going to try to shed some light on the difference between the money that they print and the money which Allah, well, not money, but wealth, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided for us. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah, I just want to share a verse. And this verse basically is summing up some of the reasons why it's difficult for us to change our condition. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, المنافقون والمنافقات بعدهم من بعد يعمرون بالمنكر وينحون عن المعروف ويقبضون أيديهم نسوا الله فنسيهم إن المنافقين هم الفاسقون. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, the hypocrites, both men and women, He said, they are alike. He said, they enjoin evil, and they forbid what is just, and they close. They say their hands are closed, or this is a phrase that say they withheld their hands, and they have forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He forgets them as well. And the verse ends, verily the hypocrites are rebellious and perverse. So a lot of times when we read verses concerning hypocrisy, we may think that we're excluded. But we're not excluded from hypocrisy. And it's the term used in this verse where they withheld their hands, or they held back their hands. And the scholars, they have said that this holding back of their hands, it means the non-compliance of the obligatory rights and duties which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed on us. And it's also an explanation of our abandonment of jihad in respect to our obligations and duties which we owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this verse here, it points out the seriousness. It points out the seriousness in us making an effort to try to change our condition, to stop using this money. Stop using the money for all our transactions. Why? Because the money is haram. The money is haram. And it taints every dealing, every contract that we deal with. And how do we know this money is haram? How do we know this money is haram? Well, in studying the nature of it, we have to first look and see that a particular group of people, they have exclusive rights to print money from a machine. And every last one of us, everyone else, we have to go to work every single day, or whenever we can. And we have to put in hours and hours of work to receive some money that a particular group of people print from a machine. Now this ain't rocket science. I mean, any of us should be able to see the wrong in this. So what they've done was created a medium of exchange so they could regulate the commodities. They could regulate the buying and the selling. They can regulate it. And we followed right along with it. We followed right along with it. No one spoke out. No one spoke out. Our scholars, they're not speaking out. They're not telling us that this is haram. They're not telling us. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He addresses everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَعْدَ أُعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا ولا يوفون وإذا كلوا Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He addresses this very act that they have committed. He uses the word wail, wailun, wail. This is a term which is very heavy. In English equation, we say woe. And people equate this word woe to the hellfire. But this term wail, it means sadness, destruction, and harsh punishment. And the word which follows, mutafifin. This word that follows, al-mutafifin, This term relates to the one who cheats others in the buying and selling of commodities and goods. He cheats others in relation to buying and selling. Now this word, mutaffifin, this word, the root is tafif. And this word tafif is the exact word which sums up the behavior. It sums up the behavior of the so-called powers that be. It's a slight increase. It means a slight increase. And the English equivalent could be interest. It could be inflation. These are English equivalents of this word. And this is exactly what's being done to us. The word inflation. The word inflation is an increase. It means an increase in price and a decrease in the value of the so-called money. So here we see that we're being deceived. And Allah addresses this situation. He addresses this. And He shows us the seriousness in trying to change our condition. And lastly, I just want to explain the market in order for us to tie in a solution for us to free ourselves from the dangers of this haram paper currency which we use. The Prophet ﷺ, he brought a free market and a fair market. That's what he brought. And we don't have a free market or a fair market anywhere in the world today. Maybe somewhere that I'm not familiar with. But they say after the Ottoman Empire went down, no more fair market, no more free market. But what's the fair market and what's the free market? The free market is just as it says, free market. So if this block here was the market, then all the vendors could come out, whatever it is that you sell, you could come out and you could set up for free and sell your products. The fair market is the fair market. So whatever product that you're selling, you can charge whatever it is that you wish to charge for this product. And that is the fair market. So where does the confusion come in? We see today, rent. We want to put buildings up, we want to charge rent, because we're dealing with money, and not the gold and silver. Or, not just the gold and silver, but when it's a shortage of gold and silver, then we use what's abundant. But the key features in halal money, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, gold for gold, silver for silver, date for date, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, and salt for salt. So it's three major implications here that allows us to know. And one of the major ones, which I want to point out, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave us wealth. Allah gave us wealth. So the wealth is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala controls. The paper money we see is not control, it's the people. They put the paper money together and they print it on a printer. And we allow this to happen. And this is something that we have to abandon. And we have to get back to wealth because it has intrinsic value, meaning the value is in it. Gold is worth something. Why? Created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the difference. That's what we need to see. Just as the same with real estate. It's the same thing. Land and real estate, two totally different things. But we go after real estate. We see the land and we see the house and we say we want the house. But when we get to the table, they give us a real estate contract. And now we subject to every law that was written on real estate. Why? Because we abandoned the land. But the land was just there for us to claim it. So we have to begin to use the Quran to try to help our condition. And I want to stress the importance. That we should not be neglectful. We should not be neglectful in our duties and responsibilities which we owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this is indeed a form of associated partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lastly, in closing, in order for all of us to change this condition, we have to begin to create our own markets. All of us have talent. We all have skill. And all the resources is available to us, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has pointed us out in Surah Jummuah. They're all available to us. And we love to exert ourselves in these things. So it's nothing for us to create a market. The empty lot that we have across the street, that's the perfect example of a market. And we can control this entire market. The market is nothing but an open, free space. That's all it is. So we should consider all of the people in the community to make a pledge to the community. Make a pledge to the masjid. And then bring your talent, bring your skill, bring whatever commodity you have to the free market, and we change our currency. We change our currency together, because we have to only fulfill one thing, and that's the needs that we need to fulfill the obligation which we owe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all we need. We don't have to run out here and keep buying the name brand sneaks, the name brand car. We don't gotta keep doing this stuff. We don't have to keep doing this. And we shouldn't chase after these things. Allah's reminding us, this is the hypocrisy in us. So dear brothers and sisters, may Allah have mercy on us. May Allah allow us to see the artificial things that we deal with in life. May allow us to use the Quran to see these things as they are. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to change our condition and build markets that we control. Build the markets that we control. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on us and make everything easy for us. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. إقامة الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله